Okay, here we are this morning in lovely Ipswich, just along the river, near the Bremer River. And I am on Bremer Parade, and I'll just show you. It's quite a busy road, so you'll hear a bit of traffic. And I'm puffing because I've just walked up here from a fair way down. So let me take you and show you what's along the riverbank, because 20 years ago when I lived here, there was nothing here. So behind me, we've got a really good kids play area. I won't zoom in on that because there's kids there and I don't want to be that guy that has the camera near the park. So we'll walk along the footpath along the water and show you what they've done along there, because it's really good. It's very similar to like a South Bank in Brisbane, but without all of the high-rise shops and everything, because it does flood down here, and to do that would be a bit counterproductive. We had some floods here last month, and they came up in the Parklands, but they didn't come up onto the road or anything, so it was flooding, but it was relatively minor compared to what we've experienced in the past in like 1974 and 2011. So let's go. Beautiful trees along here. I think they were here a long time ago because they've taken quite a while to grow. Just a beautiful spot in the morning for people to come and exercise, and it is within walking distance of my house. But I have mentioned before that I've got a foot injury, and to elaborate on that, I've always been a runner. I've always walked a long way. I've mown lawns. I've done a lot of hiking in the past, but in my family we've had a few people with a foot condition where their feet are basically flat, and if they're not flat they collapse. The arch collapses after a while. So in the last year and a half or so I've been getting all these really high aggressive orthotics and doing a lot of physio and like a steroid injection in the foot. So it's helped. I can walk a lot further now. So the river's just there behind me. It's looking a bit brown at the minute, and it always does. The Bremer River is kind of always, it's never that blue Danube type of thing that everyone romanticizes about. It's basically quite a muddy river. But it is nice to have just that atmosphere of this big canopy, the tree canopy, for well over a couple of kilometres along the river. And I believe the council are doing something on the other side of the river as well to join it up and to make it a kind of a route. It's about, I just drove here not long ago, and I think the car said it was about 22 degrees, and for a Queensland day that is just that's perfect. So I love it. This is literally the best time of the year in Queensland, from around about Easter, Anzac Day, that sort of period onwards. You know, people walking their dogs along here in the morning, running in the afternoon. Just a perfect way to live, I think. Morning. I'll just mention something in a minute when these people pass. Morning.
Morning.
As I said in some of my previous videos, Ipswich had a real problem with mainly the perception of it being a rough place. Yes, it was rough in certain areas, but as a whole, it wasn't too bad compared to anywhere else in Brisbane, really. But the authorities were pretty serious about it. and they put city safe cameras up everywhere. So you'll just see some fairly unobtrusive cameras around, and they just pick up everything. There's a central hub where people are looking, at lots of screens, and they're trying to detect antisocial behaviour. And also, I think there's cameras that also deal with the car traffic as well. So if someone, does something stupid, let's say, for example, they rob a bank. I don't think anyone's ever robbed a bank here in living memory, but let's just say they did, and someone saw them fleeing in a blue Toyota Camry or something. The authorities would be able to see, where that car goes in and out of the city. So it's all pretty good. And everyone has said that they feel really safe about walking around this riverbank. Homelessness in Ipswich is a thing, but it's not a thing like in the United States. It's mainly onesies, twosies that you might see from time to time, and they have some unfortunate circumstances. But the welfare associations here in Ipswich are very good. On my way down here, I drove past a food bank. And during COVID, that food bank has been quite busy, and it's kind of interesting to see that the cars that are pulling up at those food banks sometimes are not the sort of cars that you would pick as people being in need. Let you leave that to your imagination, but they do a lot of good. You'll also notice that there's just no litter. When we were in New York about 5 years ago, about 6 years ago, the thing that struck me about the United States after going to Japan so many times was that just the amount of litter, particularly when you got out on the highway to New Jersey and up to West Point, there was just like truckloads of litter every mile, and I've never seen anything like that before. Because you go to places like Hong Kong and Tokyo, and there's no bins to put anything in. They mainly did that in Tokyo after the sarin bombings in the 1990s, I think it was, because a lot of the explosives and terrorist devices were, I think they were planted in bins, and they were also planted on the trains. So after that, they thought, nah, we're not doing this anymore. No bins. But here, I don't think I've seen one piece of litter along this area. Admittedly, this area was flooded where I'm standing now about 3 weeks ago. And kudos to council, they've done a really good job in cleaning all of this up, because I reckon it would have been muddy. There would have been silt everywhere. But really good job. Now we are just coming under the not the Hancock Bridge, but the main bridge over the river at North Ipswich, so you can probably hear some rumbling. But I have seen, I'll just come here in the shade. So really high bridge. I've actually seen that with the water lapping underneath it. Now I did mention a few videos ago that there's a shopping centre called Riverlink, and the sun is probably in a pretty bad spot right now, but it's a huge shopping centre that was built, I think, around about 2008 maybe, so around about 10 years ago. I might be wrong there, but it's massive. It's above the flood line, which is really good. All of the parking is not above the flood line, so they just utilise the parking underneath where they can. And that shopping centre stretches around the corner, I'd say for almost a kilometre. So it's quite long, and council's doing a lot more stuff around here. Developers are putting in twin drive-ins on the river, because I guess what can you do with land that's on the river other than put like a drive-in or a golf course or something like that. But I think that'll be really good, and there'll be more tracks along this side and all join up. There are tracks over there, but there's just nothing to get a bike from here over to there without going up some stairs and across that bridge, or up some stairs and across that train bridge, which will be the subject of another video. Where we were in Tolmer Place the other day, you can actually go from Tolmer Place along that bridge, the old rail bridge, over to Riverlink. So it's really good. So up on the hill, you'll see that big building poking out through the trees. That's Ipswich Girls Grammar School, and schools in Ipswich are really widely renowned. Ipswich was settled in the early, like 1840, I think it was, and the private schools sort of came quite soon after that, maybe in the 1860s. So really good sort of thing, and the traditions of those private schools has gone on. So I think that's all we've got for you today, but I just wanted to show you what Ipswich is about, what people do in their recreation time here. And they do many things. Ipswich has so many parks because it's such an old city. It was actually considered in the running to be the capital city of Queensland. The problem was this river isn't deep enough, because back then transport was a really big issue, and you had to consider getting ships into a port, and probably not the best place to have a port. So I think we'll sign off from there. I'll keep on puffing along back to the car, but if you like these videos, hit subscribe, share them with your friends, and please comment if you have any questions that you want me to answer. Be more than happy to do it for you. Thanks very much.